You can't be a Christian because your parents are Christian. You can't be a Muslim because your parents are Muslim. You can't be a Hebrew because your parents are Hebrew. You can't have mental scholarship because your mother has a degree. If you don't have it, you don't have it, brother. If you're not in it, you're not of it. Allah says, I give life and I cause death. Well, what is life and what is death? Let's see about these two things here. I'm alive, I believe, physically, and that's important. But if I'm not alive mentally and spiritually, I don't know how to protect the physical life. Because you have to be alive in every plane of your existence in order to protect the physical, which is the housing for your spiritual. If you lose intellectual life, mental life, spiritual life, then you start doing things that will end your physical life. You start eating the wrong foods. You start hanging out in the wrong places. You start making the wrong choices. And then death comes. You're hardly able to marry and reproduce your own family line. You are wiped out before you get a chance. Life. What is life? Well, there are many definitions, but I'm going to deal with just a few. Now, I quoted the Quran. I'd like to go between Bible and Quran and life experience so that you know that whatever we say, brothers and sisters, if you're not hip to Bible, excuse the expression, hip to the Quran, you've been living. You hip to life. And some of you have lived long enough to be real slick at life, but your slickness is killing you. So we have to give some directions so that you can maintain this that you have. That is the greatest, most precious gift that God could give, is the very life that you presently have. And you must do nothing that would destroy this precious gift that God has given. It will wear away in time, but your duty is to preserve it, to protect it, and to extend your days as long as you can. That's your duty. But in order to do that, you have to have knowledge to make right decisions for your life. Now, according to the scholars, when God created Adam, he breathed into him, and the book said he became a living soul. Now, the body without breath is dead. The body with breath is alive. There are vital functions that each living person has to engage in order to be considered alive. You have these wonderful systems that God has created, 9 of them, and the 10th one is the brain. The most undiscovered, unexplored, underdeveloped reality is the human brain. If you only knew how powerful God made you, if you only knew the value of your 9 systems, and most importantly, the value of your mind, your brain, then to preserve and protect this, that this can preserve and protect this, it is incumbent upon each human being to develop the mind. Somebody said a mind is a terrible thing to waste. You can't waste what you haven't developed. If you develop a mind, you'll never waste it. Mind is not brain. Mind is the sum total of your acquisition of knowledge, either by reading, by studying, and learning through life experience is what produces mind. Brain you are given. Mind can expand. Not brain can, if the brain starts expanding, you got trouble. Somebody hit you in the head and you get the brain starts swelling. You might say, well, my mind is expanding. No, brother. Your head is in deep trouble. So sometimes the doctors have to go in and relieve the pressure, bring the swelling down. Brain should stay. It should grow, but when it grows to full capacity, you don't want brain to grow. You want mind to grow. And the expansion of mind can go 76 quintillion miles, meaning that the brain is capable of coming into contact with the universe of light. And not only coming in contact with it, but learning how to deal with it and master it. That's expansion of mind. The mind is able to pierce the wall of darkness that sunlight does not illuminate. But the mind can go beyond the limit of light and bring out of darkness new creations. Mind can do that. When God gave you brain, he gave you that which set you apart from everything else in creation, and he made you potentially the supreme being. I'm going to say it again. What did he make you? Potentially the supreme being. What does being mean? Being means that which exists. That which exists is that which takes up space, has weight, and is considered matter. It exists. It has being. Supreme means the highest, most exalted existence. Is there anything in creation more exalted than human beings? Come on. Can you find something in the animal kingdom higher than you? Can you find something in the material creation higher than you? There's only one being higher than all, and that is the supreme of the supremes. He's called God by some, or Allah by others, or Yahweh or Jehovah by others, but he's the supreme existence. But you are made, according to the Bible, in his image and after his likeness. So you are the supreme beings under God's supremacy. That's your potential. Now, you got the potential to be the highest. My brother and sister, we also have the potential to be as low down as a viper. Because the snake can't think. It does the actions of a snake because that's the nature in which it's created. But you can think. And if you plot and plan devious, crooked, scheming things to deprive somebody else of what is lawfully theirs, then your mind is operating like the mind of a snake. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you see your brother or sister with a fine car and you wait at the gas station with a 9mm, and your objective is the minute they step out of the car to get the gas, you put the gun to the head, and if they resist, shoot them and take their car. That's not supreme existence. That's a human being who has degenerated to the life of a beast, because you're stalking another human being like a lion would stalk its prey. You understand what I'm saying? And when your prey is unsuspecting, you pounce on them. You are not living up to your human potential. You have become a beast in human form. Now, brothers, so what is life? The life principle is what gives physical vitality. And that comes from the life germ, from sperm mixed with ovum, and then breathing in the breath of life, we have physical vitality. But life is also considered the sum total of man's relationships and activities. Is called your life. What kind of life do you live? Boy, that's heavy. What is the sum total of your relationships? Who do you relate with? Well, my friends. I got my friends. I relate to them. I relate to my mother. I don't see my father. I have relationships. I relate to my girl. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I relate to the brothers in the posse with me. But what level is your relationship on? If your relationship with your mother is a fake relationship, hi Ma, hi Ma, you know what to give Ma to get over on Ma. So you smile when it's nice to smile. You act holy because Mama attends church. I'll be coming, Ma. I just gotta do something. I'll be right on. You go on to worship service. And the minute her back is turned, you're into your madness. You don't really have a relationship with your mother. You don't have a relationship with your father. You're not relating. It's a clash. And when you're clashing with your mother, that's not a relationship. When you're clashing with your father, that's not a relationship, because to relate to somebody means that there's a relative proximity of spirit and mind and touching and sensitivity and feeling. But when there's a break in the relationship, stress and strain in the relationship, then that relationship don't have life in it. You understand what I'm saying? Some of us marry, but we don't have life in the relationship. We go to school, but there's no life in the relationship between student and teacher. We don't have relationship with our preacher. We go, and the preacher preaches over us, under us, around us, and we give our little money because it's the right thing to do. But we don't have a relationship. You don't have relationships. So if life is the sum total of man's relationships and activities, and that's called the man's life, then if I'm a thief and a hustler and a pimp, a dope seller, a dope user, I mean, that's the sum of my activities in life, then what kind of life is that I have? What kind of life do you have? What kind of life do you have? I'm asking a serious question. Some of us got the title Christian, but you don't live a Christian life. You can't say you're a Christian and don't live a Christian life. That's called hypocrisy. Somebody playing a name game, or as Brother Collins said, perpetrating a fraud. You say, I'm a Muslim, but don't live a Muslim life, then who are you fooling? Well, you see, I was born in Islam. Hey, wait a minute. Malcolm used to say, a cat can give birth to kittens in an oven. That doesn't make them biscuits. It isn't what you're born in that makes you what you are. It's what you do with what you're born in that makes you what you are. You can't be a Christian because your parents are Christian. You can't be a Muslim because your parents are Muslim. You can't be a Hebrew because your parents are Hebrew. You can't have mental scholarship because your mother has a degree. If you don't have it, you don't have it, brother. If you're not in it, you're not of it. Some of us as Christians and Muslims, we rear our children. We quote a Bible verse, a Quranic verse. We say prayers and we tell our children, pray with us. And the children know what to do. I mean, it's so easy if you hold your hands up like this. Children do that too. If you hold your hands like this, children know how to do that. You get down on your knees and close your eyes. The child will get right down on his or her knees, close his eye with one eye open. Say after me, our Father which art in heaven. And you think you're giving your child Christian education. And the child is faking you totally out. It's true. Like you did your mama. And I did mine. I went to church with mama, but I didn't know what the preacher was talking about and didn't care. I went to meet the little girl that I liked. She went to church on Sunday too. And we would hook up after church, and I was singing in the choir. I looked holy. I looked just like the preacher. He looked holy too. I was faking I loved Jesus. I knew Jesus was a good man, but I wasn't. They told me God was good, but I wasn't trying. So the less you try to live up to what you claim you are, every day that you don't strive to be up to what you claim you are, you're losing a grip on what you claim, and you're degenerating. It's a spiral that is ever taking you down. You can't play with God. You can't play with religion. You can't play with life, because every deed has its consequence. and every thought brings about an action. Ultimately, thoughts are. When I say thoughts are, I mean as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So I don't care what you call yourself. These are just names. But what are you? It's the life that you live.